Guys, I bought another Marine Master 300. This is my 5th one, which probably says that I'm a little bit crazy, but aren't we all a little bit crazy as watch enthusiasts? I want to talk about this SLA 045 limited Thong Sia exclusive. It's limited to 300 units, and you can only buy this in Malaysia, in Hong Kong, and in Singapore. It's a certain market release that Seiko is targeted. And you know what? It's way better in person than the images that you might see online indicate. And even in this video, I mean, I try to do a good job with my production value, with my macro shots, with my outside wrist rolls and all that stuff, the loom shots. But man, this thing has a magic in person about it that is so exciting, that is refreshing. It's like, yes, I got a good one. And it's icing on the cake that only 299 other people in the world will buy and experience the same watch that I have on wrist. So I kind of like that limited aspect. I'm wearing a different limited Seiko today. This is the Seiko Beatmaker, the SRP H19K1. And this one is limited to 2,021 units. And it sold out almost immediately. This one, limited to only 300, is yet to sell out. So at least as of the time of recording this video, you can still buy it brand new. I paid $3,000. That seems to be the going rate. You can buy it from a couple different dealers in Southeast Asia. And I'll put a link to the site that I used just for reference. But you know, it's about $3,000, which is a pretty penny for a Seiko. I know some watch enthusiasts go, you know what, if I'm spending $3,000, it better dang well say Grand Seiko, or I better go get a Tudor or an Omega or a Breitling or, you know, whatever else other prestigious brand. But I felt like that at one point. But the longer I've been in the hobby, the more I've spent money on luxury watches, the more I really just don't care about the name cachet or how much a model costs. If I love it, I have to buy it. And I love this one. So let me share some of the details. Let's go in on the dial on a macro level. We have a dolphin gray dial, or an anthracite really is the color here. It's a sunray gray, and it's almost identical to the very first colorway that Seiko introduced in their first dive watch in 1965. So that's kind of a nice little nod to their history. Obviously, the model is based off of their second diver design from 1968, but just reimagined in the modern era. And it really is a lovely fluid case shape and size. But you guys can see there is a hidden texture that you can only notice on this dial in certain lights, or if you get up really close like we are in the macro shots. And it kind of reminds me of topography you would read like on a map. You know, if you were going, you know, hiking in the mountains, or let's say you were designing a really intricate maze. It kind of looks like that. It's really interesting. And I love the kind of the dual or multi-level effect of visual dynamics here on the dial, because from afar, it's like, yeah, I mean, that looks cool. It's sunray, it's pretty, it highlights the blue nicely. Then you get up close and you notice that texture and you're like, dang, this is amazing. And again, icing on the cake that it is so limited. My number is number 110, which is, you know, almost in that first third of the production batch. I can see this one kind of becoming sought after it's sold out, after it's no longer available. You know, that generally seems to be the case with most limited releases, but this is one of those ones where, you know, if I would have just let it pass me by, I would have regretted it. You know, and I would have, you know, wanted to go buy one at a secondary market increase of price. And I don't want to do that. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you're on the fence, if you're attracted to this SLA 045, I would get one now before it's too late, before the train has left the station. And I think you're going to be just as excited as I am, because, man, this thing is cool. And part of it, yeah, is the color scheme. Part of it is the use of turquoise on the 300 meter designation, the blued hand, which is not thermally blued. It is chemically painted or treated. So in some lights, it kind of looks black, and then you angle it, you get it in the right light. Again, that texture comes to the forefront on the dial. But the hand, you know, that seconds hand turns vivid electric blue. And man, is it pretty. It's really pretty. And it ties in nicely with the blue ceramic bezel insert that is partially loomed to 20. And that's another thing that I love about the Marine Master. The loom is fantastic. It really is, more potent than what you would get on, say, an SKX or a 5KX, a Sumo, a Captain Willard, Samurai, almost any, actually all of their lesser priced divers except for the Tuna. The Tuna is the only one that costs less and is as good or better. I think it's a little bit better than the Marine Master in terms of loom, but the loom is so good. And surprisingly, the tactile action here is really good. Again, for a $3,000 priced dive watch, I'm not disappointed. And the fact that this one is perfectly aligned almost throws me for a loop. Like I half jokingly want to say, hey, Seiko, come on, you misaligning my bezel. What the heck's the matter with you? Like, you need to properly mess it up for it to be a true Seiko. No, this one is perfectly aligned. The bezel action is pretty good. The thing that's not so good about this is the clasp and the bracelet. The bracelet has abnormally long links. They look a little funky. If you kind of angle the watch and see where the links kind of terminate, you can tell that it's not a consistent finish all the way through. A little bit rattly, and the bracelet is it's just kind of bulky, especially with this adjustable clasp. Now, props to Seiko for doing an adjustable clasp years before it became a mainstay and became popular with us watch enthusiasts, but it really isn't very user-friendly, kind of bulky. I mean, it's nice that it's there, but it's not the best execution. And I will say personally, I'm annoyed because I'm right in between needing to take out a link and leaving it as is. Right now I'm wearing it Bruce loose, but I'm just a hair away from needing to take out a link. So if you want a perfect fit, you might not be able to get it with this because we don't have half links and we have these really long, funky looking links. And that's why some watch enthusiasts that I know that like the Marine Master don't wear it on the bracelet. They put it on an aftermarket bracelet, or they wear it on the rubber. And this one will come with a blue included Seiko silicone strap. Now let's talk about the movement. We have the 8035 caliber here, which is a really sharp movement. It is based off of the 9S55 from Grand Seiko. Seiko has made a few different adjustments to it. It has a larger balance, to accommodate a longer, heavier handset. And finish-wise, it's a little bit different. And I'm going to drop in movement footage of this caliber as seen in the Captain Willard that I bought, like 2 years ago now. So exact same movement that is within this monocoque case. And it's a really sharp movement. We have 190 components, 50 hours of power reserve, a 4 hertz beat frequency, which, is pretty uncommon for a non-Grand Seiko, Seiko-made product. We have 26 joules, and this will be hand-assembled at the Shizukuishi Watch Studio. Now, I'm sure I totally butchered that, so if you want to laugh at me, say, oh man, Bruce, the guy with the stupid hair, can't pronounce anything, you're totally right. You're totally right. You can make fun of me. You're justified. But it is hand-assembled in Japan, which I think is great, right alongside Grand Seiko. And I will say, the accuracy specs, as stated from Seiko, is minus 10 to plus 15 seconds per day, which really, if you think about it, sounds ridiculous for a $3,000 watch. I will say I've never had that much of a deviation in any ADL movement that I've bought or that I've owned or that I've borrowed for a review. It's always been within chronometer levels of accuracy. And this Thongxia exclusive has been 1 second off per day. Now, I know that's going to settle down as I wear this watch over the next couple months, so I'll report back how it settles in. But right now, I'm super excited about the level of accuracy here with this 8035 movement. Now, let me end with a couple things that I love, a couple things I don't love so much, and hopefully this video will help those of you on the fence about the Marine Master 300, whether or not it will work for you. Now, one of the things I love is this handset. It's one of my all-time favorite hands. The shape, the brushwork, the chamfered edges, it is so attractive. I love the handset here. Really is, like, I'd have to say top 2, maybe top 3 all-time handsets on a dive watch. It's so good. So I love that. I love the fact that we have a sapphire crystal. It's flat on the top and it's highly domed on the underside. And then it's also sunk down below that ceramic bezel insert. So you get this kind of porthole look that works well on this saturation diver, this professional dive watch. And then you get it at the right angle. And, apart from the light play off of the finishing here on the case, apart from the fluidity of the design and the hidden texture and the light play, you get this distortion. And I don't know, there's something about it that's so cool. And when you wear it, it's hefty, it's chunky, it's very heavy, and it's very tall, but it works really well. The sides are kind of sculpted on the underside, so you get great wrist articulation. And again, it's just one of the most charming watches to wear, even though it's one of the fattest and chunkiest and thickest watches, dive watches, three-hand movement watches out there. So just be aware, it's a big boy. But I will say, if you can pull off a turtle, if you can pull off a sumo, if you can pull off an SKX or a 5KX, you could definitely pull off the Marine Master 300. Let me just share the two side by side here. Here's my SKX or my 5KX. Here's my turtle. You can see it's narrower than the turtle. Very similar actually visually to the SKX. But again, just tall and heavy. So brace yourself for that. You really feel the weight of the steel, which is awesome. I kind of look forward to putting it on. Really, I do. It's special. Now, a couple things I don't love so much as we wrap up. I don't like the fact that Seiko stupidly took off Marine Master off of the face of the dial. I know it's more, aesthetically pleasing with ratios. The pyramid is here in form when it comes to the text execution. But man, you can't take Marine Master off of Marine Master 300. It's just wrong. It really is wrong. So I don't like that. I mentioned the fit. I mentioned the bracelet. That's about it. I mean, really, it's a sharp watch. I can't quit it. Again, this is my 5th Marine Master. And I will say, I don't think it's the honeymoon speaking, but I think it is my favorite out of all the ones that I've tried. The blue version, the green version, the 017, the 001. I think the 001 was my favorite, and now this one's my favorite. The color scheme, the limited nature, the hidden texture, it's all here. It's a lovely release, and I'm glad to have it in the collection. And really, I just can't see letting go of this one anytime soon. I know I advocate for flipping, and I always say no to keepers, but man, this one's so special. I don't know if I can let go of it. I really don't. So guys, thanks for watching today. I appreciate it. If you're still here, 13 minutes in, you're awesome. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great day. And let me know if there's a comparison you'd like me to do, maybe next to the Turtle, maybe next to the Seamaster. Let me know in the comments. Again, have an awesome day. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.